Well, hello. It is a hot day and I've got my air conditioning turned off, if you can't tell, just so I could film this first impression. Walked down to the post office today expecting a small package because I went on Van Ness pens after reviewing my Sheaffer Snorkel and my Sheaffer, what was the other one? Sheaffer Imperial Deluxe 2. And I saw a Sheaffer Legacy 2 for sale, which has the same kind of filling mechanism. And I thought, I'm going to splurge. I've been good all summer. I haven't bought a pen since June. I'm buying it. And it arrived today. Now, you know how big a pen is. You know, they're not very big. So I ended up walking home, because I walk, with this ginormous box all the way across town. And thinking, what else is in here? Well, it turns out a lot of environmentally harmful styrofoam peanuts. But that's another story. Why was it in such a big box? When I got to the bottom of the environmentally unfriendly styrofoam peanuts, I found this. And normally I would start out by showing you this under the B-roll camera, but it doesn't show the whole thing. So I either have to make adjustments to how I film, or I thought I'll just do it this way. So this box, of course, is a sleeve, and I have mentioned before, although I typically stopped ranting about it, I don't like excessive packaging for a lot of reasons. One is, what am I going to do with this now? So the sleeve hides, make sure you can see it here, make sure it's in focus, the word Sheaffer and a white dot. So we'll remove the top cover. Come on. Very tightly fit on there. Oh my God, come on. So more styrofoam that's starting to fall apart due to age, which totally not unexpected. More styrofoam. And plastic over more styrofoam. So we'll remove the plastic, which is actually, I don't know if you can tell, but it's starting to get yellow with age. Because this is a pen from the 1990s. And it reveals, I want to make sure nothing falls out here, reveals this. So we're going to switch to the other camera now and investigate this a little more closely. So, of course, we have Masterpiece Gift Set, Sheaffer Legacy II, representing the ultimate in quality craftsmanship and classic styling. The Legacy II fountain pen brings art and style to writing. And then some stuff in French, which I don't read. And if I try to pronounce it, I get French people mad at me. And then there's this Daume, at least that's how I'm interpreting it. It's handwritten. Okay. Since 1878, Daume of France has been synonymous with creativity in the art of glassmaking. This fine crystal inkwell is unique, individually made, and signed by the glass artisan. And then I have a certificate of authenticity, number 507 of 1,000. This masterpiece gift set is certified as authentic, one of only 1,000 sets, issued worldwide. And then more French. So I think before I go any further, just for the Instagram channel, I'm going to photograph before I take anything out, because this is a first impression. So we have what sounds like a glass feather, probably from a fairly large but flightless bird. We have a glass inkwell with that probably could use a bath. Signed by whoever that is. And whoever that is. And then Sheaffer. So what it is, we've got the lid for the inkwell. Which I think would look really cool on a desk, just probably not my desk, because my desk folds up and there's no shelf really that will hold it. So we'll put this back for now, and I'll figure out later what the heck I'm going to do with all the, what I'm going to do with this stuff. Under here, we have some packaging. We have an almost empty script jet black cartridge. And then some literature. Down France. Okay, stuff about glass and Baum. Sheaffer Legacy book, where they get a little bit more variety in their languages than just English and French. Owning a legacy writing instrument makes a strong statement about your unique individuality. Legacy reflects the quality, values, and craftsmanship which began more than 80 years ago with W.A. Sheaffer, the jeweler whose inventions endure as a legacy for all generations. With proper care, your legacy writing instrument will provide a lifetime of extraordinary writing pleasure. And then we've got probably the same thing. Then it talks about using the touchdown plunger. We'll get to that. It talks about replacing ink cartridge. Rollerball pens, which nobody cares about those. Apparently there's a pencil. And then some more stuff. Oh, a caution. Proper care. Cleaning is advised when the pen has not been used for some time. Okay, and then it just talks about how to clean it. More stuff written. And there's a registration card in the back, which I feel like that won't really matter anymore because Sheaffer has changed a bit. So the pen isn't typically a pen I would have liked. It's a shiny metal pen. I would have preferred, they had a black version, and I think I would have preferred the black version. This is a fingerprint magnet, but I decided to go for it just because I really wanted it. It is a slip cap. I kind of got scared there for a second. We have a inlaid nib. Oh, let's give the pen a little twirl. Isn't that what they call it? So the cap feels a little loose. I mean, the very first... Okay. It's got a double click. I see now. All right. Then you pull it out. We've got a Sheaffer 18 karat. So it's gold inlaid nib. Some more of that like white residue on it. And it's a medium. There it goes. If I unscrew it, which I haven't been this far with this pen yet, we've got a thingy. The thingy would come out, and that's where presumably I put in the cartridge. I am told that I can put in the aerometric converter, but not the screw type converter. And the reason has to do with what I'm going to do next. And I've been waiting to do this. Yes, it is a touchdown filler made in the 1990s. And I am ridiculously excited about that. And I'm so excited. I'm going to ink it up. When I saw this pen for sale, I even bought a bottle of Sheaffer ink, even though I have very little experience with the Sheaffer world of ink. So, to fill a touchdown filler, you pull up, put the end in the ink, push down. Voila! See, I can speak French when I want to. And it's full of ink, one presumes. Hopefully I'm not sorry later that I didn't wash the pen out first, but such is life. Okay, not liking the double click to cap it. So just writing that much, I can tell that this blue, maybe we'll do a comparison as a bonus feature at the end of the video. This blue is nothing like the vintage blue, and this pen is quite a wet writer. The ink, of course, is Sheaffer Script Blue. Well, maybe it's not even called Script. I don't see the word Script on there. We'll just go with Sheaffer Blue. Typically, these inlaid nibs are not flex nibs. I think there's a little line variation to it, but it is definitely not a flex nib. Might be a little bit of a stub-like character to it, which, you know, looking at it, I don't know how I will show you. Gross. Autofocus is really not enjoying this. You're probably not either. So, make of that what you will. Wetness and flow. Oh, she's wet. Smear test. Since there's still a few wet spots in the second line I wrote, I'm pretty sure we're going to smear. And we did. And the reverse writing. Very scratchy. Fine. And finally, the world famous Pierre Gustafsson test. I think we passed that one with flying colors. Now I'm going to get up real quick and go grab my pen that has vintage Sheaffer blue in it. It probably feels a little inadequate, but this is... I'll pull out here for a second so you can actually see it. Okay, this is a Sheaffer Imperial Deluxe II. Also with a touchdown filler. This one has a Triumph nib on it. Probably a steel Triumph nib. So let's zoom back in. We'll do a swatch with both inks. How's that sound? So we'll do a vintage one here. Like the Legacy II, also a reasonably wet writer. Probably not quite as wet. And it's a fine point, not a medium, but still. I know we've added extra variables here by using different nibs and different pens. I'm doing the best I can. So I'd say that the modern Sheaffer is more of a true blue. Like squid blood. Did you know that squid have copper-based blood, so they bleed in blue? I'm not sure, you know, what kind of shade of blue or anything, but copper-based blood, which is interesting and may explain why they've got so many hearts. Yeah, you didn't know that either, did you? So you got a biology lesson for free. So that's my Sheaffer Legacy II. I was excited about this pen, and I'll concede I'm going to be doing some writing with it after I turn off the camera here. One last test I always like to do. Oops. And it went into my pocket just like a champ. No trouble at all. This is a very nice pen. I don't know yet what I'm going to do with the ink bottle or that ridiculous packaging or all those little styrofoam peanuts, but we'll figure it out. Yeah, I'm glad I bought it. I think I'm going to enjoy it. It's a very high quality, well made pen. Um, and it does something I think I'd like to see more pen manufacturers do. Sheaffer really went back to their roots and brought out a really classy pen. Um, if they're making good pens like this in the 90s, I don't know why they ended up in so much trouble unless did they give up? And when I start thinking about it, I start thinking, well, okay, what's a Sheaffer pen you actually know of? And I go, Tyrannus. That's one I've reviewed. I can't think of any others. I remember Sheaffer was around back in the 80s when I bought my first fountain pen. There were, I don't know, remember the model anymore, but there was a Sheaffer and Waterman hanging on the rack, along with the Parker Vector that I actually bought. I bought it. The main reason I wanted the Parker Vector is I just really liked that arrow clip. Um, I I guess it's the same story for all the big manufacturers. Waterman is making some good high quality pens. Parker's making some good high quality pens. But where'd the magic go? And maybe it's because people like me ignore them and buy our vintage pens or something, but I don't know what to say. I probably had a point I was headed to. I just didn't really get there. But yeah, I'm glad I bought it. I'm going to enjoy writing with it, and by the looks of it, I think I'm going to enjoy Sheaffer Blue. So anyway, I want to thank you for watching. We'll see you later. Bye bye.